The Chelsea Cashman Elementary School presents Owl Witness News with Stacy Watkins, Francie Naple, and Jeffrey Donovan.
Here are some facts for today's vaccination. Many years ago, a ship sank in the Mediterranean Sea. It wasn't until 1968 that divers found the sunken ship and brought it piece by piece to land. Now scientists have carefully put the pieces together again. It's the oldest ship ever recovered from beneath the sea. Scientists believe that the ship sank 2,200 years ago. An animal called the shrew will starve to death if it does not eat heartily at least every 2 hours. The kangaroo got its name from Captain James Cook. When the English explorer was in Australia, he asked a native what the name of the strange jumping animal was. The native replied, kangaroo, but in his language it meant, I don't know.
Who's who at Cashman this week? I'm sure most of you know who this man is. He is our custodian, Paul LeBlanc. He is the person who maintains our school building. If there is something wrong with the heating system, he is the one who fixes it or calls a repairman. When we are all on vacation, Mr. LeBlanc is the one who waters the plants and feeds the animals. Last year, after the heavy snowstorm, Mr. LeBlanc was on the roof of the school with a snowblower to remove the heavy weight of the snow. When there were storms with heavy rains, Mr. LeBlanc would stay here all night to protect our school from leakage and flooding. Mr. LeBlanc has built bookshelves for our classrooms. When the teachers have a problem with furniture or the bathrooms, Mr. LeBlanc is the one they go to. He is kind and considerate, and our school is lucky to have him.
A fairy tale is a made-up story. For Poets Corner this week, we have our principal, Mr. Atkins, who will read a story that he has written. Mr. Atkins?
Thank you. Some years ago, I used to work with people who were going to be teachers, and I wrote this story for them. Now I'd like to read it to you. The story is told of a people who lived on the banks of a deep lake in which, as is often the way with such lakes, there lived a monster. At first, the monster had attacked farms and villages, and the people had fought it with swords and spears, and life had been uncomfortable for everyone. Then the people and the monster agreed that if it ceased from raiding their farms and villages, they would throw into the lake, every time the moon was full, a boy on the edge of manhood or a girl on the edge of womanhood, and this they did. At length, the monster died, as even monsters do, and its body lay at the bottom of the lake. And still, at each full moon, the people took a young man or a young woman and cast them into the cold waters of the lake. One day there was born to this people a strange child. Almost the first words he spoke were as a question, and he went on as he had begun. He asked why the sun came up on one side of the great lake and went down on the other, and they told him that it was the nature of the sun to do that. And he asked why things fell to the ground when he let them go, and they told him that it was because of gravity, and he did not understand their answers. He asked why everyone rose to their feet when the oldest woman came into the room, and they told him it was simply what one did. And he asked why everyone bowed themselves to the ground when the priest of all the people passed by, and they told him that it was because he was the Most High Priest. But he still did not understand their answers. And most of all, he asked why he lost one of his friends every time the moon was full. And in hushed voices they told him it was because of the monster in the lake. When he said, "What monster?" they told him not to be silly. Often the boy would stand on the edge of the lake and look for the monster, but neither scale nor fin of it could he see. Then he would go back to the people and explain that he still had not seen the monster. And though his hair was the color of a cornfield and his eyes as blue as the sky, he was not loved. And when the next full moon came round, he was chosen, even though he was a little younger than was usual, and he was bound hand and foot and thrown into the chill lake. And so the monster was dead long since, and now the boy is dead. And as the story is told, the people will grow tired and old until only the lake is left.
Thank you, Mr. Atkins.
Last week, I made a mistake in reporting the sports. It was a victory for Miss Long's class over Mr. Cushion's class, and not Mrs. Jutrus's. Sorry, Mr. Cushion. Sean Leahy, Joey Goddard, and Kevin Bilodeau made this model of a Tyrannosaurus Rex attacking a Stegosaurus. Sean, Joey, and Kevin are in Mr. Chapman's class. The Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Stegosaurus are extinct. Geometry is a branch of mathematics that studies the relations among points, lines, angles, and surfaces. Mr. Peterson's math classes and special interest class have been doing geometric design projects. These projects are used to help the students understand a little more of what geometry really is. In every geometric thread design, one can find many different geometric shapes, such as ellipses, circles, triangles, and trapezoids. Even though a thread design looks as if it has many curved lines, it is really made up of many straight lines put in a position so it actually looks like the thread really forms a curve. Besides the projects done at school, some students have done some of theirs at home, either from kits or from their own designs. We have some examples to show you, and as you look at them, please remember that these designs were all made from straight lines. The circles were done by Lisa Sarney, Scott Cloutier, Deborah Vale, Mandy Morrissey. The ellipses were done by Brian Sadowski, Marie Gonthier, Deborah Vale, Courtney Cutter, Scott Cameron, and Krista Melanson. The starburst was done by Ronna Bailey. The balloon was done by Kristen Melanson and Mike Irons. The last example we have to show you was done by Toby Ellen. It is his own design. There are some other examples of string designs on the bulletin board by the office.
Red sky in the morning, sailor take warning. That was a saying that sailors used hundreds of years ago to predict bad weather. At dawn a week ago, Wednesday, the sky was very red. The following day we didn't have school because of high winds, rain, and snow. This past Tuesday morning, the sky was red again. And true to the saying, we had another snowstorm and again a no school day. If you're willing to get up at dawn every day to see if the sky is red, you'll be able to predict stormy weather. Our meteorologists have given a long-range prediction for the month of February. The precipitation will be above normal with temperatures in the normal range. In the next few days, the temperature will be cold and it will flurry intermittently. Heidi Peterson predicts good skating. Diane Goslin predicts snow. Mark Drabick says it will be cold. Those string designs were really interesting. But I have a question relating to geometry that I would like to ask Stacy and Francine. How many sides does a circle have? 2, the inside and the outside.
Jeff. Many of you guessed what is it to be an old-fashioned drill or a dog holder. It is a lamb or sheep retainer. It is threaded into the ground, and a lamb that usually wanders away from the flock is tied to it. There is something on the market today which is very similar to this. It is used for a dog. This is today's What Is It? Can you guess what it is? If you think you know the answer, write your name on a piece of paper with your guess and put it in the box marked What Is It in the media center. Today we will have pizza. Monday's lunch will be beef and gravy, mashed potatoes, and corn on the cob. On Tuesday we will have ravioli and tossed salad. Wednesday's lunch is roast beef sandwich and tomato soup. Thursday we'll have tacos. And Friday we'll have clam rolls with french fries and coleslaw. Thought for the week comes from Bartlett's quotations, "The most wasted day of all is that in which we have not laughed." Thank you for listening. This is Francine April, Jeffrey Donovan, and Stacy Watkins signing off. Have a good day and enjoy the weekend.